Good afternoon. I welcome again all of you to the lecture Advanced Software Engineering and Technology. In today's lecture, we will discuss about is this presentation visible? Is it visible? Analysis. In analysis, we are at introduction, overview analysis, analysis concept, analysis object model and dynamic model, entity boundary and control object, generalization and specifications, analysis activity. All these we covered in previous some lecture, and now we are at identifying entity, identifying actors, mapping use cases, association, aggregates. Now today we are going to discuss about modeling state dependent behavior of individual object. We know the object and object has some particular behavior. Object has some work, some function in software development. Like suppose we have a ATM card, then ATM card has some functions. Without that ATM card we can't withdraw the money from ATM machines. Like this, there some work are assigned to that objects. Similarly, here are the modeling state dependent behavior of individual objects. Some of the objects are state dependent, means without that state the object can't work. We know we need ATM card to operate the ATM machine, to operate ATM machines. This is the state dependent. Once you insert ATM card into the machine, and then the ATM machine will start. That is the state dependent. Similarly, a sequence diagram are used to distribute behavior across object to identify operations. To identify operations, we use sequence diagram. Through the sequence diagram we can distribute the behavior across the object. Suppose one object is there like this actor, and this will operate the ATM machines and he will withdraw the money from the ATM. So represent this task, their sequence diagram we have to use. Sequence diagram represent the behavior of system from perspective of a single use case. From single use case we can inspire and design a sequence diagram to show the behavior of that object, to show the function of that object, how that object will be work. To show that, we have to use a sequence diagram there in the software analysis. The state machine diagram, there again another type of a diagram, that is the state machine diagram, which represent the behavior from the perspective of a single object. From the perspective of a single object, but it in the sequence diagram, it distributes the behavior across the object and identify the operations. Here, single object use case, perspective of single use case, and here is the single object, single use case in single object. In use case there may be many objects, but in object there is a single object, single entity. The view behavior from the perspective of each object enable the developers to build a more formal description of the behavior of the object, and consequently to identify the missing use case. By focusing on individual state, developer may identify new behavior. Viewing the behavior from perspective of each object enable developers to build more formal description of the behavior of the object, and consequently to identify missing use cases. To identify, suppose we have the huge information and there may chance to miss the objects at the time of requirement gathering from the customer, from the client. There may chance we may miss some object, there may we miss some functions. So we have to view the behavior of each object to enables the formal description of behavior of the object, and to identify the missing use cases. By focusing on individual state, by focusing on individual objects function, developers may identify the behavior, developers may identify when particular object will work. That can be identified by the developer in the modeling state dependent behavior individual object. For example, by examining each transition in the state machine diagram that is triggered by the user actions, the developer should be able to identify flow step in a use case that describe the actor's actions trigger the transitions. You look at in the figure there, in figure that is shown how transition in the state machine diagram is triggered by user action, and developers should be able to identify the flow steps in use cases that describe the actor's actions trigger transitions. We know whenever we will develop a software, suppose we have one camera, computer and printer. When camera will be on, when printer will be on, these are the states, these are the some of the states are there. When you want to print out from your software, then there should be a printer, there should be printer connected to computer, and that is the state dependent. Printout is the state dependent. That device should be there, printer device should be there connected to the computer, and then your software will give the actions command trigger the functions to the printer, and then you will get the printout from the printers. Am I audible? Is this presentation visible to you, Mayuri? Note that it is.
हॅलो.
Yes,
येस सर.
is it visible?
आवाज नव्हता येत का? हो सर. पण मध्ये मध्ये थोडा रेंजचा इश्यू येतोय.
Okay. A modeling state dependent behavior. Note that it is not necessary to build state machine for every classes in the system. Suppose there are many classes in one system, it is not necessary to develop the state machine diagram for every classes. Only object with an extended lifespan and state dependent behavior are worth consider. For lifespan or state dependent behavior objects, we have to design the state machine diagram. When we have to design the state machine diagram, when the object is state dependent, then for that objects working, we have to show with the help of a state machine diagram. Suppose we want printout, okay, and for printout our software should be connected to the printer, our machine, our computer should be connected to the computer, then we will get the output from this printer machine, otherwise it will not. So this is the state dependent, and to show such type of explanation, such type of information, we have to use a state dependent state machine diagram. State machine diagram we have to design there. This is almost always the case for control object, less often for entity objects, and almost never for the boundary object. State machine diagram we have to use many time for the control object, and it is very less used in the entity object. For entity object, we can bypass this state machine diagram. We should not need to write the state machine diagram for the entity object, but for control object, for giving the commands, we require the state machine diagram. Suppose this this is computer and this is printer, and this printer is depends upon this computer. When this computer will give the command to this printer will be start. This is the control device under this device. So there we have to use the state machine diagram, and almost never for the boundary object also. For boundary object, there we should not use the state machine diagram. State machine diagram we have to use for control object. You look at this figure 5.17, which displays a state machine for the incident class. Incident class here active from this solid circle. This state is started. You look at this, there is one state. In one second state, report and assessment is started, and then response and this segment in another state, and lastly the field officer release the resources in another state. All resource allocated deallocate. When the function is completed, then inactive all the resources and close our function, close our software, and archive. The examination of this state machine may help the developer to check if there are use case for documenting. In the examination of the state machine help developer to check there is use case for document. Is there any use case for document for developer that gives close and archiving incident, close, inactive, all these are the use cases that can be found by the developers with the help of information which we have collected in the incident. By further refining each state, the developer can add detail to the different user actions that change the state of an incident. For example, during the active state of an indicate, field officer should be able to request new resource. Field officer arrive on site. In first state, what happened? Active. Software is active, and once the software is active, then in that software the field officer arrive on the site, means it will report, then assessment, dispatcher allocate resources, Then response to the assessment, dispatcher allocate resources or not. And once the dispatcher allocate resources response, then field officer request additional resources, additional, then desegment the resources, additional information we have to, additional resources we have to send as a field officer. Field officer release resources, field officer release resources. And here is the stop at circle, and there is a dark circle. This is the stop state, this is the start state. Start only the dark circle, there is the state started in state machine diagram. This is the starting point and this is the ending point, this is the ending point. And these are the directions, direction, this arrow indicates the direction of the resources, direction of the flow. For example, during the active state of an indicates the field officer should be able to request new resources and dispatcher should be able to allocate resources to existing incident. This is the UML state machine for incident. You look at the field officer arrive on site, then reported assessment, then dispatcher allocate resources. If response is there, then desegment, the field officer request additional resources and desegment, and at last field officer release resources and the state will be stop here. Another state will be start and close and archive. Again collect all the deallocated resources, all resources deallocate. In this state machine diagram, the incident class, how the flow of incident class is there is shown. Now modeling inheritance relationship between object. This is another type of a modeling inheritance. We know inheritance is generalization is used to eliminate redundancy from the analysis model. If two or more classes share attributes or behavior, the similarities are consolidated into a superclass. For example, dispatcher and field officer both have a batch number, both have a batch number, attribute that serve to identify them within a city. Who is the dispatcher and who is the field officer? Both are the officer, both are the police officer. To identify these two persons, there is the batch number, and from the batch number we can identify this is the field officer and this is the dispatcher. Field officer and dispatcher are both police officer. These both people are the police officer and who are assigned different function. Field officer has different function and the dispatcher has a different function. Both dispatcher and the field officer are having their own different tasks, who are assigned different function. To model explicit this similarity, we introduce an abstract police officer. We can use abstract, we can use header there. For modeling these two people, dispatcher and field officer, to model these two people we can use one abstract, that is the police officer, who are assigned different function. To model explicit, introduce an abstract field officer class from which the field officer and dispatcher class inherited. From this police officer we can use batch number as a integer, batch number for both the field officer, and these are the field officer and dispatcher. These both are the police officer, and these are inherited from the police officer. This is the modeling inheritance relationship between the object. There are two objects, and in these two objects, which is the relation? These both are the police officer. This is an example of inheritance relationship UML class diagram. This is the example of a class diagram. We have to draw such type of a class diagram in practical using Argo UML or Star UML. Okay. Yes. Is it understood, Mayuri?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These two, field officer and dispatcher, these are the person who are police officers, but they have their different function. Field officer survey the incident, where accident takes place, how that accident takes place, and that inform to the dispatcher. What is the function of dispatcher send the resources at the place where the accident takes place, where the incident takes place. Their dispatcher send the resources like fire tank, ambulance, and JCB, and crane machine to manage their traffic and to control all the situations happen there at the incident place. This dispatcher work, but both are the police officers. So we can say these two objects are inherited from the police officer. These are inherited from police officer. So we can model inheritance relationship between two objects. Now reviewing the analysis model. Now how analysis model is there, we now review all the steps. The analysis model is built incrementally and iteratively. Analysis model we have to build incrementally and iteratively, means there may we have to make the parts iterations as well as it is the incremental. The analysis model is seldom correct or even complete on the first pass. Several iterations with the client and user are necessary before the analysis model converges towards a correct specification usable by the developers for design and implementation. Several iterations within the client and user are necessary before analysis model convergence towards correct specification. We know specification. Specification means the software requirement. Suppose someone wants software, some person wants software. That person is the client. And who will develop software? This is the developer. Okay, developer should go to the client or client should go to the developer with some specification, with some information for which software we are designing. And for this, client and user are there should be several iteration, there should be several communications with client and user before development, before taking the requirement of the software. You will visit just one time to the users and client, definitely there may be the chances of the software failure. Your software will not work properly, you will miss some of the functions from software. To avoid that, we have to communicate with several time with the user and client, until necessary analysis model convergence toward the correct specification. Once you have get correct specification, by the developer for design and implementation. For design software, we got appropriate information from the client. For example, an omission discovered during analysis will lead to adding or extending a use case in the requirement specification, which may lead to eliciting more information from user. Which function we have to omit, which function we have to add in the software, that information we get from the client. So we have to elicit that information, we have to collect that information. Elicit means collect that information from the client, so we will get appropriate use cases, or sufficient information from the user, from the client, and then decide. This is our software specification, software development specification. Once the number of changes to the model are minimal and the scope of the changes localized, the analysis model become stable. Once sufficient number of changes happen in the requirement, client talk with you, user talk with you, as a developer you talk with client and user, and number of changes you made in that model, and minimize the model, and at one step you have got a sufficient information to design the software. You have made analysis. This is the stable information. That specification is the stable model, analysis model, stable analysis model. Then that should not change once you have finalized all with communicating with the client and users. Then the analysis model is reviewed first by the developers, that is internal review. Now you have the analysis model ready. Okay, after that, as a developer, we have to review that model, we have to study that model, then jointly by the developer and client. Once we have reviewed, again we have to go to the client to discuss with that model, and jointly we have to review that model. As a developer, we and client both, we have jointly review the model which we have made analysis model. The goal of the review is make sure that the requirement specification is correct, complete, consistent, and unambiguous. What is the motto, what is the goal behind this, software development analysis model? This correct, complete, consistent, and unambiguous specification we have to get. Just a minute, we are getting call. हॅलो, पोचले पण का? बरं बरं. तू कुठे आहे? फ्लॅटलाच आहेत का? बरं बरं, येतो मी थोड्या वेळात. मी कॉल करतो 5 मिनिटात, लेक्चरला आहे. हा ठीक. Sorry for disturbance. Now you see what is the goal of reviewing the analysis model. The goal of reviewing analysis model is to, we have to get sure information. Software specification, software development specification, we should get correct, complete, consistent, and unambiguous, so that we should review. Moreover, the developer and client also review if the requirement are realistic and verifiable. Moreover, developer and client also review the requirement are realistic and verifiable. as a developer and client, we have to verify that information, discover error downstream and make change to the specification. If there are error, then correct it. Suppose some function we have suggested to the developer, to the client, or client suggested some functions to the developer, but actually that function is not able to implement, then we have to discuss with the client, your requirement is not possible to implement as a software. This is the main review analysis model. It is, however, a worthwhile investment to catch as many requirement error upstream as possible. The review can be facilitated by checklist or a list of questions. How we can uh, review the model, how we can make error free information? By checklist. We have to take one document and write there all the resources, which resource is possible to implement into our software, which component is possible to develop in our software and which is not. that we have to that we have to review, and can be facilitated by the checklist or the list of questions. We have to ask questions to the client should ask the questions to the developer, and in between this conversation, in the questioning and answering, there many difficult point may get easy, and we can reach up to our specific software information, so we'll be develop error free software. Below are example questions adopted from Jacobsons et al. 1999 and Ramberg et al. In 1991. These are the examples which are collected from the book. The following questions should be asked to ensure that the model is correct. To identify model is correct, such type of question we have to ask. Is the glossary of entity object understandable by the user? Glossary. Is there dictionary to understand the object's function, to understand what is the, suppose there we have written PTR. For what is it stand for? It is required, suppose print. We know as a developer this is PTR means print, but it should be understand to the client, it should be understand to the developer. So as a developer we have to provide the glossary of entity object to understand the user. Do abstract classes correspond to user level concept? For user level on the user level concept, we have to do the abstract classes. Just we have seen one example of a police officer. Police officer was one class, and in this class there are two inherent classes, that is field officer and dispatcher. Field officer and dispatcher, these two inherited classes are there to understand the user level concept. Such type of information we have to add. All are the description in accordance with the user's definition. Do all entity and boundary object have meaningful nouns phrases as name? Are all description in correspond with the user definition? Are all description in accordance with the user definition? Suppose there are some descriptions, that description should be according to the user's definition. Otherwise it will be difficult to understand the users why this much information is given in our software. So we have to avoid that and use according to the user's definition that description, and do all the entity and boundary object have meaningful noun phrases as names, like field officer, incident. From that names we have to get some information, means we should aware about that concept, why this is there. Like suppose print, we know this function is used many places for the printout. Similar type of names we have to use as a phrases according to the clients, according to the users name. We have to use their noun phrases in the software development. Like suppose we are designing one software for withdraw money from ATM machine. Okay, then withdraw like button is should be there. We all of use ATM machine. We know there we insert ATM card into the machine, and then on the display there some buttons enable, and the name on that buttons are withdraw, deposit, check balance, mini statement, like this. From that name we get the information why this button is there: balance check, withdraw, deposit, mini statement, like that. So similar type of nouns phrases we have to use into the software development to all the entities and the boundary objects. Do all user case do all use cases and control objects have meaningful verb phrases as name? Also we have to give the meaningful names to the use cases also. And are all error cases described and handled? If there is error, then there should be help, and that should be able to handle to the users. If there is error, that error should be handled by the users. Such type of information must be there in our software. The following question should be asked to ensure that the model is complete. For each object, it is needed by any use case. In which use case is created, modify. Why we need use case, for which this use case is created, and how this use case is modified. All these questions we have to ask to the client developer and in communications. Then and then we can review the analysis model and destroy if there is unnecessary information, and can it be accessed from a boundary object. Like these questions we have to use. For each attribute, when it is set, what is its type? Should it be qualifiers participating in corresponding use case? For each associations, when it is traverse, why was the specific multiplicity chosen? Why this function is there? Can association with one to many and many to many multiplication be qualified? For each control object, does it have a necessary association to access the objects? The following question should be asked to ensure that the model is consistent. For identify the model is consistent, we have to ask, there are multiple classes or use cases within the same name. Are there multiple classes of same name or the use cases of same name? Like this question we have to ask for what? To ensure the model is consistent, to ensure the model is consistent. Do entity, example, use case, classes, attributes with similar names denote similar concepts. Use case, classes and attributes with similar names denote similar concept. Are there objects with similar attributes and associations that are not in the same generalization hierarchy? These questions we have to ask. Again, the following question should be asked to ensure that the model described the analysis model is realistic. For realistic, specification, consistent, all these questions we have to ask. And then the analysis summary. We will see this in next lecture. If you have any doubt regarding the analysis model, review analysis model, and any written classes and modeling, inheritance relationship, and modeling state dependent behavior of individual object, you can ask. Do you have any question? Do you have any question? Swati, Mayuri,
Yes, sir.
if you have any question regarding modeling state dependent object and modeling inheritance relationship between object, you can ask me question. Do you have any question regarding these 2 points, 3 points? Yes,
No, sir.
Swati.
No, sir.
Okay, then thank you. Have a nice day. You can join another lecture, and wish you very happy new year.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.